Welcome to the Necessary Bulwarks guide for the Grizzled AK. This is a rougher one than the last few co-op missions, but it looks way worse than it actually is. You'll notice it takes place entirely in classic special ops again like last time, at least it claims it does. We'll get to that. Anyway, that means not the normal Verdansk operations where you can bring in a custom loadout, which makes this frustrating. Be warned, your greatest challenge will be matchmaking, sitting in the lobby, so find something to watch while you wait. Not only can it be difficult to find a match, when you find one, you may need to leave. Each of these steps can only be completed in certain missions, and you can't pick what you play. If someone isn't backing out of their matchmaking queue, it'll just keep putting you with the same person on the same map you can't use. Fun. It wouldn't be that bad if you could solo them, because then you could pick, but that's considered a custom game private match, so it doesn't count, even though it isn't like you can adjust the difficulty in any way. To top it off, Classic doesn't give you any XP or progression, so this is kind of annoying and poorly conceived all around, I have to say. Now that you're prepared for that, step 1, 6 multi-kills using rocket launchers. Well, I went through every mission and documented the stuff I could easily find off spawn or near spawn. Clearly Bomb Squad is the easy choice since it gives you RPGs and free ammo right off spawn. The only other launcher I know about is in Door Kick, near where you exfil at the end. It's here to help you deal with the armor that rolls in if your chopper doesn't get to it. There's probably more you could find, and I think the RPG enemies should sometimes drop one. I just never found one when I checked their bodies. Back to Bomb Squad, it also gives you a riot shield, which makes it much easier to lead enemies around and wait for them to be grouped up for easy double kills. The challenge itself is easy, but it took me nearly an hour to find a match on Bomb Squad. It also gave me the very common bug where the bombs insta-defuse and hardly any enemies spawn, which was annoying. Couple more things to keep in mind. You use a grenade crate to get launcher ammo back in Spec Ops, not an ammo crate, if we're talking about the type you carry around. But any of the infinite ammo boxes will work just fine. Also, fall damage is a thing. Classic didn't get the Warzone fall damage update like normal operations did. In this game, thankfully, everyone eventually disconnected, leaving me all alone, which is what you want if you can get it. Absolutely beautiful, because then you can hit retry and go as many times as you want to get the challenge done, grabbing new RPGs, easy. So once you get on Bomb Squad, or Door Kick is alright too, especially solo, this'll be easy. But good luck getting to that because it really is all luck. Step 2 is to kill 10 suicide bombers. Disinform is by far your best option for this one, I believe. There may be suicide bombers in other missions I'm not thinking of, but if they're deep into the mission, that isn't very helpful. You don't want to have to rely on your random team to help you get there. So Disinform is great. In this intro sequence, when you fight your way to the embassy compound, you should run into roughly 5 that come running at you. Always be listening for the stuff they yell, which should be very loud. If you play any Spec Ops, you should be very familiar with the noise. Then later, when you're defending the compound, they can also rush you sometimes. Not all the time, and they can be hard to find since there are so many enemies, but you can hear them. And one tip, try a gun without a night vision scope, since you can see their red flashing lights in the dark. I got lucky with a big train of them there, and that challenge was done. But even if you just run the beginning of Disinform, with a couple retries, you should get that done. Next is 20 claymore kills. This ain't too bad. Bomb Squad, Disinform, and Safeguard all have very accessible claymore boxes. I was already in Disinform, so I got a few there. Not a whole lot though. So then I ended up finding a Safeguard match, which is probably the best option. So many enemies flood in, you can trap their entrances and just lay them around the buildings. They really flood in everywhere. There's not much of a technique to it, but do know that you can only deploy 4 at a time. Same as how many you can carry. So even though you can keep grabbing more from the box, wait for some to blow up before placing more. You can only have 4 on the field before they despawn. Once that's done, we enter scary killstreak territory. Step 4, 5, and 6 is to call in 10 clusters, then 10 cruise missiles, and then 10 sentry guns. All of them say in classic special ops. But guess what? You know how killstreak challenges always seem to be bugged to work in any game mode? Well, that applies here. So go hop in regular operations, slap on those streaks if you have the points, and call them in whichever operation you like. Those points are just earned by playing operations. You can also find clusters and cruise missiles on the ground fairly easily, which is what I did after calling in my first 3 for the rest of that mission. Sentry guns are very hard to find though. I find the occasional jug suit more than I find a sentry gun, so I would definitely buy those, or even just do them in classic. Back to the cluster strike step, I didn't actually know about the operation trick yet, so I did all 10 of them in Classic. I didn't have a team, but if you do, it actually isn't bad at all. Clusters are pretty available. Like in Door Kick, you just have to do a crazy run past everyone, maybe injuring people to stun them. The first care package is a sentry gun, and then the second one is a cluster. So I ran up there, called it in, and voted to restart. Sadly, people never voted with me, but eventually some guy died and left, and I was alone. Wonderful. But it didn't last this time. People filled it right back up, so progress was slow, but every time we died, everyone wanted to keep playing, so that was great. I did my quick run to the cluster, then ran a bit further to spawn the jugs, unleash them on the map. Oops, my bad. So we tended to die, and then we went again. Grounded is actually the way better mission for this, if you can get it, because the streaks are just in bags on a table at the very start of the mission. 1 cluster, 1 airstrike, 2 sentries. But you can only take 1 bag per game. So you could do that with a team of people in Grounded really fast. Just use it, and all vote to retry. But obviously, if you're solo, just complete these in normal operations, especially for the cruise missiles. That would be nearly impossible in Classic. They really should have made it an airstrike. As far as I know, the only thing with a cruise missile is Safeguard, where somewhere 2/3 through, I think it's one of the crates that drops, but that's just me remembering from running this a ton at launch. I never got deep enough to find one this time. I know there's also a gunship and a chopper that drop towards the final wave. Yeah, thank the heavens you can cheese those missiles in operation. 2 more little killstreak tips. 1, if you place a sentry gun at the start of an operation, the killstreak box will still be open for a short time, so you can quickly buy another one, which is good to save a run. Because again, sentries are super hard to find on the ground. I did 2 games of 4 sentries each, and then I just went and got 2 in Classic. Final killstreak tip, which applies to both Classic and regular, it seems like the challenge only ticks up at the end of the streak. So when the cluster is finished and when the sentry gun dies, not when you call it or place it. So to be safe, I would wait for that before leaving or retrying, just watch for the challenge to tick up. With those 3 killstreak steps vanquished, however you choose to do them, you're left with 100 pistol kills, which does need to be done in Classic once again. Only killstreaks are cheesable in operations. But this ain't bad at all. 2/3 of the missions give you a 1911. Remember to be going for headshots for the one-shot kills. I spent a lot of time in Safeguard with this infinite ammo crate up here, but any mission is fine. Even if you don't have a pistol, remember that you actually do. If you let yourself go down, which is really a great method, because now nobody's shooting at you anymore, no more flinch, you can calmly look around and get some easy headshots. 100 of those, not bad at all. There you have the Grizzled AK from Necessary Bulwarks. All I can say is, thank God you can call in cruise missiles in regular operations. Otherwise, I think that would have required partying up with a capable team to play for several hours on Safeguard. At least the clusters and sentries were somewhat readily available. Those missiles would have been hell. But whatever it is about killstreak challenges always working across modes for some reason, I'm very grateful. But it doesn't look like it was intentional. It does say, do it in Classic, which is really scary. Yeah, as closing thoughts, I'd say the sandbox playground of Verdansk in the normal operations is a much better place for these mission challenges. I'm not fully against them making people play some Classic, populate it a little bit, and they can be fun, but I think they really need to track in the solo custom games, or at the very least, not be designed such that you need to wait in matchmaking for ages to find the specific mission you need, and then want to screw over your teammates to just spam restart. Something like the pistol kills was a good challenge to have in Classic. Everything else was a bit of a mess. Not my favorite one of these, but saved by the cheese. Hopefully now you agree this wasn't as bad as it might have seemed at first. Good luck with the mission if you're going for it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.